Welcome back, focused learners, to another explainer. Today, we're diving into something really fascinating. We're going to look at how to actually change our habits without constantly fighting our own minds. I mean, if you've ever felt like building a good routine or, breaking a bad one is just this exhausting uphill battle, trust me, I'm right there with you. It's tough. So let's look at what the data actually says about self-control.
Okay, let's dive into this. It's a pretty painful reality that we all face at some point. Why is scrolling on our phones for hours just effortlessly easy, but sitting down to study or work for a mere 20 minutes feels incredibly hard? Like we sit down with the absolute best of intentions, and before we even know what happened, we're completely lost in a sea of endless content, just wondering where the time went.
You look at it, and it's this massive gap. Hours of mindless scrolling on one side and maybe 20 minutes of focus on the other. And honestly, most of us look at this huge gap and we just blame ourselves. We blame a lack of willpower or a lack of motivation. We literally tell ourselves we just aren't disciplined enough. But as we're discovering from our source material today, that is completely the wrong way to look at it. Here's our roadmap for today. 1. The willpower myth. 2. Make good habits obvious. 3. Make bad habits invisible. 4. The power of culture. And 5. Redesign your world. All right, let's jump right into section 1, the willpower myth, breaking the cycle of guilt. So the crucial point is that the absolute biggest lie holding us back is this idea that we just lack discipline. According to James Clear's massive international bestseller Atomic Habits, there's a paradigm shift we desperately need to make. And it's this: willpower is highly overrated and environment is absolutely everything. I gotta say, this was a huge relief to my own guilt. If we actually want to change our habits effortlessly, without that endless internal tug of war, we have to stop relying on motivation. Instead, we need to start mastering our surroundings. Moving on to section 2, make good habits obvious, design for visibility. There's this brilliant quote from James Clear that really shifted my perspective. He says, "Be the designer of your world and not merely the consumer of it." Just think about that for a second. Because human beings are heavily visual creatures, we just react to whatever is right in front of us. If a cue for a habit is hidden away in a cupboard or shoved in a drawer somewhere, our brains are literally just going to ignore it. Stepping up and playing the role of designer is the true key to effortless, lasting change. In actual practice, this means taking action before you even need to. So, you want to drink more water? Place filled water bottles in every single room you spend time in. Want to read more? Take a book and place it directly on your pillow every single morning. So it's literally the very first thing you see right before going to bed. By making the cues for your good habits incredibly obvious, you don't even have to think about them. Taking action just becomes this completely natural, automatic response to your environment. Which brings us to section 3, make bad habits invisible, increase friction. And this brilliantly illustrates the difference. Trying to resist temptation using pure willpower alone, that's eventually just going to exhaust you. You will simply run out of energy. That's exactly why putting your phone on silent when you're trying to study or work is honestly a pretty weak strategy. Why? Because the distraction is still right there in your visual field. True environment design means putting that phone in an entirely different room. You have to remove the visual cue completely. Let's say you find yourself watching way too much TV. Well, unplug it after every single use. Or even better, take the batteries out of the remote and go hide them in a drawer. The real secret here is simply adding just 5 seconds of extra effort. By adding that tiny bit of friction, your brain actually becomes too lazy to perform the bad habit. It sounds crazy, but we are surprisingly simple creatures sometimes, and over time, without that easy access, that bad habit just slowly fades away. Section 4, the power of culture, your social environment. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the brutal math of social influence. Up until now, we've only looked at our physical spaces, but our social spaces are just as critical. We naturally, and very often subconsciously, just copy the behaviors of the people around us. Think about it. Hang out with 5 people who procrastinate, and you will almost inevitably become the 6th. It's just how we're wired. Bad habits spread like wildfire when they are the norm in your social circle. You simply cannot out-willpower a bad social environment. Let's move to and see how this builds on that idea. To counter this, we need to actively join communities where our desired behavior is already the normal behavior. Whether that's a reading group, a workout class, or community building a business. When you surround yourself with people who already have the habits you want to build, you adopt those habits effortlessly. It stops being a struggle and just becomes, well, what we do. And finally, Section 5, redesign your world. Small changes, massive results. The overarching theme of all of this is that small strategic environmental shifts create massive long-term success. Now, Atomic Habits is an absolutely essential read for students, professionals, and entrepreneurs alike. If you want to dive deeper into this and read the complete book in English or its Urdu translation, the original source creators have made it incredibly easy. Just drop a comment or send a direct message on their post, and they'll actually help you get an affordable copy delivered straight to your home. It's an incredible resource for sure. So it's time to take action and actually start redesigning your workspace and your life today. If you found this explainer helpful, make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more powerful, structured summaries just like this one. But before you go, I want to leave you with one quick question to think about. What is one bad habit you are cutting out today? Drop your answer down in the comments. Let's make those bad habits invisible together. Thanks so much for joining me, and I will see you in the next explainer.